Hello, my name's Missy Hunt, and I am a nursing major and communications minor here at Florida Southern. I was born and raised in Texas for about half of my life, and even though I technically call Tennessee home now, I still think of myself as a Texan at heart. And I think it's because of that huge stigma around Texans where we just love our state. And I think people think that's a bad thing, but really, so what? I mean, when we went to school, we were taught about Texas history, and we learned about our own heroes, and we learned about how we gained freedom, and we're one of the only states that was ever its own nation at some point. So, really, to say that I lived in a place where we did our own state's flag pledge along with the country's pledge every day at school, like, it's hard to take that out of my own identity, honestly. And in Texas, like, that was where I did all of my major childhood milestones. Like, I learned to walk, I learned to eat, I learned how to ride a bicycle, and I was potty trained there. Like, everything about my childhood is Texas, pretty much. So I moved to Nashville, though, and I started middle school when I got there, and there's a surprisingly huge difference between the two places. I know a lot of people think that the South is all pretty much the same, but I think there's a huge difference. First off, the accents are totally different. If you go to Texas, you'll hear "let's jump in the pool," but if you go to Tennessee, you'll hear "let's jump in the pool," because they sprinkle in extra syllables everywhere. So another way to think of that is like a Texan is exactly how you would think a cowboy talks, but Tennessee is pretty much hillbillies, which is fine. I mean, that's where I grew up. So there's something about, living in Texas and then moving to Tennessee, and it's not a hard transition because honestly, Tennessee has something called Southern hospitality, and Texas doesn't really have that. It's a lot rougher there. But in Tennessee, if you go into a restaurant, you'll feel like motherly love from the waitress. It's crazy. I mean, everyone on the block seems to raise each other's children, and it's really great. I love living in Tennessee, and I grew up a lot in Tennessee. I played all of the tall people sports, and I know you can't tell in this video, but I'm 5'10", so I had to check off volleyball and basketball from the list of sports. And I had a really great time playing those sports, but really the best thing that I did was when I got to high school, my brother's girlfriend recruited me into doing color guard. And I learned how to dance, and I learned how to get over performance nerves, and I learned so much, and I've gained so many great friends, and I had a lot of great memories through color guard, and it's a huge part of who I am today. I have to admit, I loved being captain, and I loved being with all of the girls, and it's such a great experience. I'm so glad I went through that, and I wouldn't have been able to go through something like that in Texas. It's a totally different situation there. But besides that, I mean, Tennessee, I did a lot of milestones in my life. I learned how to drive. I had my first boyfriend, and all the growing up kind of milestones I had in Tennessee. So I think equally I grew up in both places. But as of right now, I mean, I'm down in Florida, and this is one of the best places for me because I love Disney so much. I just love Disney. I could quote almost any Disney song right now. It's a fantastic movie company. I love everything that they've done, and I love their parks. So I have a Disney pass now, and I'm super excited to be living in Lakeland because one of my favorite places to just relax is the beach, and you're an hour from the beach, and you're a little less than an hour from Disney, so it's the best location to be. And it's a real small town, and I like that it's a small town. I don't want to be living in the middle of a downtown trying to go to school. And I love the school here. Lakeland is nice. I love Florida Southern. I love the small classes, and I love the ability to do online classes like this because I have a very busy schedule. I'm now a sophomore nursing student, and I have so many crazy classes that I am ready to take on. Just have to get through it. We'll all get through it together. It's fine. But I have one little visual just to kind of show you on a map where I've lived. So here's the map of the United States. And that's pretty much Texas right there. And like Texas takes up that much area. And I was in Dallas, right about there. And Nashville is right here. It's not super far away. So I think a lot of people don't really know where Nashville is, but it's really not that far away. And then Lakeland, we're in the middle of Florida right now. So yeah, that's pretty much my life story for you right there. Bye.